Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Hi, guys. Welcome to Creators today. Today we have a special guest.
Merrick McCartha and
Peggy Warny.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for coming on. I always wanted you guys to come on shows, and I've been doing couple interviews, and I was like, oh my God, yes.
Oh.
I'm not thinking this sooner.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah, because you both, okay, so Peggy, you are a photographer, director. You shoot movies as well. You film. Merrick, you're an amazing actor. Did you guys plan this?
No, none. No. Well, Peggy actually planned to be an amazing photographer since you were 8 years old, 4 years old, something like that.
I've always wanted to be a photographer. So yeah, there was never a time in my life that I didn't think I was going to be a photographer. Yeah.
Nice. You always knew.
Mine was a transition, a life transition that, as far as career happened later on. I had interest in performing, but I pursued science and math and a career. And then later in life, I decided to go the other direction into acting.
Screw that steady paycheck.
Who needs it?
So a few years when you're starting out, though, that when you transition and you make acting your full-time thing, I mean, it's like anything else. You have to build up to it.
Yeah, unless you have wealthy parents, it's going to be a struggle for a little bit. So, yeah.
That's true. How do you guys make your relationship work? I mean, you're both in the industry. How do you guys make it work?
I think that's it, that we understand each other's industries, and we both are very interested in each other's industries. I'm always interested in how's this, and I'm showing her stuff, and she's either educating me or laughing at me for showing stuff. Or Peggy, of course, is interested in helping me and know more about my industry because it also helps her. And I think that's kind of part of it. I mean, as a relationship, we have our own magic in our relationship that's separate from what we do as careers, but it just happens that we happen to be in these different careers that
complement each other.
That we've made complement each other well.
Yeah.
Opposed to two actors dating or two photographers dating, there's none of that.
I think there's a lot of room for us to help each other and not ever be in a position where we're in competition towards each other.
Yeah.
I know for me, working with actors, realizing what actors actually need in a headshot, going to workshops, really understanding how the industry works helps me as a photographer, and then I can, help my clients and of course, Merrick.
Mm.
Yeah. You have amazing photos for your headshots. I mean, that's awesome.
That's not the only reason. I mean, I just happened to get, a little bit of a deal on the headshots. That's,
He didn't start dating me for headshots, right?
No, I had a career that was on the upswing when we met, and it just happened to.
No, that's
so
awesome.
That's a joke every once in a while. I'm like, you're just here for the headshots. So, but no. It's really been a fun thing because we've really we feel that we work together. Like we've kind of gotten away from it during the pandemic, but we used to have a weekly business meeting where we really brainstormed, what we need to do. Now it's more like a monthly.
Yeah, and we still keep up with our business side, but we haven't been doing. I mean, with the pandemic, it's hard to be. We've
productive.
Everything gets kind of out of whack. So.
Yeah, I mean, so tell me, I would love to hear a story, like how when you guys first started working together, like on a set or something. Like, how was that? I mean, I'm sure you guys work now because you guys work together so many times. You guys kind of have a flow and a rhythm with each other. You guys know how each other understand how you guys work. How was it at the beginning? Was it kind of like rough? You were like, whoa, just do this, or?
No, I think it's kind of the opposite. Now it's like, you're supposed to do this. But before, I think the first time Peggy took my picture was like at Balboa Park in San Diego. And I was, this is it was pretty simple. We had fun. It was Balboa Park, so everything is scenic and beautiful. And we just had a great day of just kind of hanging out on top of that. But as of now, when we go to the studio, it's like,
get to business. You know what to do. You know what to do.
Yeah.
And the first time I did behind the scenes, I did behind the scenes pictures on a film that he was doing. And it was my first time doing set photography. I'd never done that before. And the reason that I got that gig was because he was in there and they were looking for someone, and Merrick was like, hey, you want to do this? Sure. But
was that the dog?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was. It was a movie about this guy who adopts a dog, and this was shot in I want to say Orange County, North County, San Diego area by the ocean. Beautiful
nice
setting house. And so Peggy got to do the behind the scenes shots for that. In this particular short film, I had a wife who was there on set with me. We had there were no, graphically intimate things going on. It was just a, very gentle, subtle touch, hug or something like that. And it was, I think, the first time you got to.
It was the first
kind of hit her that hey.
I was like, well, what is this? How's this going to work? Yeah. But I think Merrick was, aside from that part of it, I think Merrick was just like, don't mess up, like be quiet. Just he kept telling me, like, just remember, you have to be quiet.
Well, no, I want it because I know that it wasn't something that you're too familiar with, but I want to make sure you understood what to expect so that you weren't disappointed. I didn't want you to be disappointed. So I was trying to tell you, these are the kind of the guidelines of how things work, just so you know. And so.
But it was a really enlightening experience for me because I'm not a jealous person by nature. I feel like I'm really secure in our relationship, but to see him like holding another woman's hand and being all lovey-dovey, and it was literally just that, holding hands. I think there might have been a little pet kiss. It wasn't any romantic. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can handle this. Like I actually sat down about a week later. We had gone to lunch with our friends A and Leslie Martinez, and A Martinez was, Cruz on the soap all through the 80s, a big love interest. And I was like, how did you do this? And she kind of gave me some pointers on that, being in a relationship with an actor that's, those are things that you're going to have to deal with. So that was really, I'm glad we got that out of the way early on.
That's good. Yeah, no, that's really good. Because I always wonder how, they hear about the whole stigma of Hollywood relationships and how that's kind of tough to balance. And then if you have a romantic scene, how do you deal with it? So that's cool.
Yeah, we that comes up for us a lot when we're watching things, particularly certain shows where they have some really like hardcore love scenes.
Yeah.
Like there's probably I tell her, honey, there's a cloth between them. It's just a cloth, so they don't even feel each other. I don't know what you're worried about. But
and it's ruined TV and movies for me, because now I'm sitting there going, they're married, or they have a significant other, or,
Yeah.
takes
all the romance out of movies for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So that, I mean, and I think as the actor, I don't know if it's me, I always think, hey, I'm here to work. I'm an actor, I'm focused. This is a role that I want to do well at, because this is my craft, and it's with another woman. Sure, but we're artists together. And Peggy's like, or it's people that like my work,
right.
and I'm sure it's just that, but I don't think that's always the agreed upon viewpoint, that they just like my work. And so I'm like, honey, I don't get it. We're good together, so why would they even try to, I don't
because that never happens in Hollywood or anywhere in real life, right? So yeah.
No, but that's good that you guys are doing, like, I love that you guys are working through it, and that's great. And so I just recently saw something that you guys are working on, like, I think you're like, it's like a period piece or something like that you guys did, and I think you're also in it, Peggy. You're acting as well.
No. This is actually started out as me putting together a one-man show performance about the life of Ira Aldrich, who was the first Black actor to play Othello on a London stage in England. Wow. And he went on to be the first actor to ever be knighted by any royalty. So it started out as that, and I've been working on it because I'm not a writer, but it's a great story. So I did a ton of research, and there's a lot there if you look for it about him, and it was just cobbling this story together and writing it out in the form that would work as a one-man show where you could, and I think of one-man shows like, the guy with the white hair, the mustache, that has all the funny jokes and sayings. All right. Or there's been a lot of one-man shows out there where they're captivating, Patrick Stewart, he did a one-man show on A Christmas Story, Dickens, and it was he was just him doing all the characters. So I'm like, how would I create that kind of interest, that kind of captivating story on stage? So that was what's taken me such a long time, and I've kind of gotten into it during the pandemic. I got more of it done, and we did a couple of sort of test videos of me doing this as if I was in front of an audience. And so the guy that initiated this whole process, his name is Alan. He's a great actor from the Bronx, New York, and he's here and he's done all kinds of stuff. He's in my theater company. He approached me with this and about doing it. And so he's like, hey, why don't we try to make this a real video series for now? You can make it a series of these short, it could be 5-minute videos of parts of the story just pieced out. And then, or we could try to put together as one long video. But that's kind of what we started with this one. So now we're filming these scenes in different parts of town to cover the story.
Yeah, it's been a really fun to watch, for me to watch, when Alan approached Merrick about it originally. Merrick's like, yeah, I'll do that. Where's the script? And Alan was like, no, you're writing the script. And Merrick was like, I'm not a writer. But it's been really fun for me to watch Merrick find that place. He didn't realize he was a writer, but when this project's done and you guys see it, you'll be like, oh, I think Merrick might be a writer.
No, I know how to write things. I can write a good business letter. I can write a very nice personal letter to someone or a nice personal note to someone. But writing out a story, it's a different thing. I'm like, hey, I got to know how to tie this together. I got to figure out what this thing really is about and what I'm going to cover and to what extent am I covering stuff. And then in a one-man show, you can't just be talking. You've also got to sort of create these moments between two people that are scenes, but you got to perform them both yourself. Right. So these are all weird, different things you got to.
Was it challenging?
No, it was super easy. What do you think? was
And
very,
it
very
just seems
tough.
like anything you do seems easy though, because you're just, it's so, it seems like it just comes so natural. When I look
No,
at your
I'm
stuff,
saying
I'm
it
like,
now
oh, that
because
looks so easy.
I say it now because I have sort of developed the methodology, which is what helps me, having a method,
Yeah.
you know, a strategy, a method. And before I had none, I'm like, I don't know how to even persuade. It took a lot of work to figure that out, and that's part of the challenge: is what kind of method am I going to use to put this together? You know. So yeah, it was a challenge.
But it's coming together, and we're still in the production stage of it. In fact, we just went location scouting yesterday, I think, a couple days ago, and for a particular scene that we wanted to do, and we wanted to make it kind of look Londonish. So we're I don't want to give too much away, but so it's been a really fun thing to work on together. So
that's exciting because I saw you're in it too, right?
Peggy is not in it. Peggy is filming it. Peggy is DPing it.
I'm doing all the filming and probably all the editing.
Oh,
so
exciting! I'm excited to see it. So I guess that's what you guys are doing. You guys are creating.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
My question was going to be, like, how are you guys staying balanced right now, being that we're all in this kind of uncertain time, like this uncertainty of time of like when things are going to go back to somewhat normalcy, but it looks like you guys are just creating to stay balanced, so that's good.
I mean, at first we were trying to do the thing that a lot of families are doing when you have multiple people in the house is, how do we stay calm and sane and still be together? So we were doing these things where we have sort of a routine of doing a little bit of work, then making everyone dinner, we eat together, then we all enjoy a game or a movie together, or all go somewhere together as an outing together. So kind of do things like that.
Well, in the beginning, we didn't leave the house. We didn't even go
right at first.
Around,
but then after we were able to kind of drive around, I think sometime after the big protests in LA, we kind of went out because we wanted to see that.
Yeah, we drove around to see, what was boarded up and.
But then we got into actually doing other things. Like I started to pursue some things I wanted to brush up on as far as my acting, and Peggy was doing some other things, getting new equipment and working on some different techniques with her lighting and photography. So we kind of got into doing that thing, working on separate projects together. And then this came along to work on together as well. So we've been kind of trying to keep busy,
Even before the pandemic, if Merrick would have a lull in auditions, we would just do self-tapes just to keep me sharp and to keep him sharp. So we did a lot of, mock auditions in the beginning. But then Merrick got really busy with classes and doing, auditions for classes. And so we kept really busy. In fact, there's been many a times we've looked at each other and said, how are we so busy right now?
Mm-hmm. It's true.
That's a good thing.
So,
that's a good thing.
I think, it's an opportunity. I think that everyone has at least once in their life said, if I just had a week to catch up on things. Well, we just had 6 months.
That's true. That's so true. You're right. Yeah. So, a fun question. I love to ask people this on the show. If there was a biopic based off your life, who would play you? Either one. You both can answer it.
Who would play me?
Yeah.
A biopic. Probably the actor that plays the stormtrooper in Star Wars. What's his name?
Oh, that guy. Oh, I could see it. I was gonna say Denzel, but
I don't. I don't know. He's great. Who else would be great? Yeah, I can't think of anyone offhand right now that would be fit.
This is funny, Meosha, because I interview people almost every single week, and I have no problems putting my people on the spot, and you just did that to me, and I got nothing. You got anything? Yeah.
How would you not have?
Who do you think? This isn't something I've ever once in my entire life thought about. Who do you think would play me?
Who could play you?
Yeah.
Let's see. The woman that was in League of Their Own, what's her name?
oh yeah. I could see that too.
Gina Gershon, I think is her name.
Yeah, that's her name, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice save, right?
Yeah, he's on it. Because I'm wondering how are you guys adjusting to set now with the COVID rules? It's much different, isn't it? Like set.
Yes.
It's just interesting. My friend was telling me about the she works for a soap opera show, and she was telling me how they were going back to set, things were great. One person has COVID, the whole thing is shut down. So it just it's just this whole, I don't know how long we're going to be in this, but how are you guys adjusting to this new set life that we're all in?
Here's interesting you brought that up, because we had the opportunity to work on the show Bosch together. It's a TV show that's been around for like 7 years now. And so working together really as like they wanted real couples to be a couple enjoying jazz in a club. And we're like, hey, why not just do this? It's not paying anything, but it's something we get to actually listen to. And we did. So we went to work for Bosch's show, and they had their protocol set up that we had to have COVID tests before. Twice, like once, like a week before, another a couple of days before, that had to be done. And then we get there, they're taking your temperature. They had us put on their specific mask. It wasn't their unique mask. It was like an industry standard surgical mask. Because we were bringing our own stuff, and they're like, no, you got to wear our mask. And it has to be on at all times until they yell action. And we saw people still not doing that. And so,
are you serious?
Yeah, not a lot, but it was like there were a couple people. We're like, why? We're in California of all places. Everyone here is usually fairly understanding and liberal-minded about. We have common sense about things in science. Yeah, but these people were like, and they weren't the crazy shouting, I'm not wearing it, you can, because they'll fire you to do that. So they were just kind of really low key, like just like not having it on, having it below their nose or their chin, like they're trying to act like they didn't really, they weren't really where they're supposed to have them. So they were told a couple of times, and they still barely did it, but it was very uncomfortable for us. And luckily we didn't have to work in any close proximity to them, which we would have had to say something like, hey.
Right, if we were close to them, we would have probably said something, but we were able to, and thank goodness they didn't see us next to them or anything. In fact, right. I think because I was kind of watching, and I think everyone knew, because they got seated way back. I mean, I don't think they are going to be in any of the shots, because I think they were like, okay, you're here, but you're kind of being a jerk. So,
wow.
Because when we got to set, we're in this, it's a club that's off of, I want to say Sunset, or right near Hollywood Boulevard, something like that. But it's a real club. They had a stage for a band and table seating for a cocktail, audience. And there was an actual jazz band there, so we were sitting there.
Nice.
It was really nice, and they were great. We were actually listening to jazz as a couple holding hands.
We were like, this feels like we're on a date.
I know, we were. And the production, there's I think second or first AD was telling us, hey, mask on, mask off. When I yell cut, put your mask back on. He was watchful, making sure everyone did that and follow the rules, which I really appreciated very much. But I've also worked on another production where that wasn't the case. A couple of them where that wasn't really the case, where they were kind of leaving it up to the actors to decide if they're going to put a mask on and off between takes, which Yeah, so I'm not sure that needs to be hammered out. Like, what are we going to do? You can't just,
Yeah,
let
there's so
people.
many, the rules are not, it's different. Like, I mean, even now I'm trying to figure out, there's a production company in LA that we're trying to like hammer down and nail down some dates to go in a set, but there's a lot of, rules that you have to, have
Mhm.
in place before you go and shoot. And we want to make sure we're following all the rules like to the T, because you just don't want anyone having COVID or anything. It's
Or
Yeah.
just really
putting someone
dangerous.
at risk unnecessarily, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
everybody is there to make the production go well, so everybody should have everybody else's back.
Yeah. So
exactly.
it just kind of upsetting because things are shut down, businesses are lost because people are careless. And so after all that, people still not trying to make sure that we can get out of this mess by keeping your mask on and being safe. It's frustrating and it can be
Yeah.
angering for both of us.
And in the studio, that's been a whole other challenge because clearly if I'm taking someone's headshots, they can't wear a mask. So,
Okay.
we're doing the social distancing, keeping air moving in the studio. I have my mask on all the time. I have disinfectant and, everything everywhere. And I just ask my clients to be honest. Like if you've been exposed or if you haven't been safe, please,
Yeah,
for
let me know.
my family, please, let's postpone. That's
Definitely.
the best I can do is just hope that and most of my clients are amazing. So, they care. So
That's good. No, that's really good. Last question is, what advice would you give to someone who wants to, come to LA or just maybe pick up photography or get into acting? What advice would you give them?
start.
Yeah, I love you.
Okay, if you want to start, if you're interested in photography and you love photography, my best advice is get training. A lot of times nowadays, people buy a camera and they just think they're photographers, and they just set it on automatic and they just go and they're like, oh, we can fix it in post, and it's like, well, you could, or you could actually learn how to use your equipment, because there's a big difference. Like you can tell if somebody fixed it in post or if they shot it correctly. And there's no excuse now. Like when I started, I read books and played with film, so it was hard, it was expensive to learn. There's no excuse now because there's YouTube videos, there's tutorials everywhere, so there's no excuse to not really learn your craft. And then if you want to do this as a business, think of it as a business. Learn some business principles, because otherwise you may be the most talented photographer, but if you don't know how to run a business, it's just a hobby.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
I think it's always important to realize you need training to succeed in this business, and you need to have perseverance, and you need to have a very realistic expectation. And so if you come in without those things, all three, then you're really at high risk of failure. So whether you move here and do that, or you do that before moving here, you got to have those two things. You got to have training, you got to have perseverance, and you got to have realistic expectations about the business. And so those are things you want to focus on getting first. I mean, the other stuff is going to be there. People that have this idea that you got to be good looking and you got to have this. It's like no, no. You don't have to be beautiful. You're not or a model or anything like that. You just need to be those three things, and that's what they look for. So focus on getting, look up training that suits you. I don't prescribe any particular training, whatever is going to bring out that thing in you that you want to get out. That's what I promote. If it's a mix of things or one thing, great. If it's doing it for you, great. But this is a tough business. It's not a tough business. It is a business that takes perseverance, meaning you've got to put in the work. You've got to understand that you're not going to get every audition. There's going to be things that look discouraging to you, but you've got to keep going and press past that and continually work on being the very best that you can be in yourself and your craft. And understanding this business and being realistic about it. This idea of I'm going to go and I'm just going to walk up to Martin Scorsese and he's going to say, hey, you, Meosha Bean, I want you to be in my next movie with Robert De Niro. No, it doesn't work that way. Even though Meosha is beautiful, it doesn't work that way. You've got to actually work and have understanding that the business has a certain structure to it. There are these, rare things that happen. Soda being discovered in a soda shop, or walking down the street, or going into an audition with one of your friends and them saying, hey, well, those things happen, but so rare, it really does take the time to know you've got to build relationships with casting people, with directors, with producers. And you do that by doing the other two things, being trained and doing the perseverance work and going through it all. And that's the reality of the business. That's the reality of the business, that it takes time. It can take years before you get your first co-star role on a TV show. It can. It just happens sometimes. It happens, so have these, because people that go in without that, they go in thinking, oh yeah, and they're ready to move back home because they feel like they failed because they're not on the next Friends or up for the next, big Steven Spielberg movie. And that's a tragedy, because perseverance is what gets people there, and so that's my big advice is to have those three things and be prepared to go through those three things.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. That was great advice.
It's good to see your face, even though it's on Zoom.
Yeah, I know.
You too, guys. You too. Yeah. Where can we find your social media sites where people can follow you? And
headshotsbypeggy.com.
And at Headshots by Peggy everywhere, and merricktheactor.com, and Merrick the Actor at Merrick the Actor everywhere.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. You guys were wonderful. And again, till next time, everyone, remember to live, love, laugh. Bye, guys.